Everyone's favorite terrorist enthusiast, Hasan Piker, is making things worse for himself. Again, I know, again, he cannot stop because he cannot shut his mouth. All of these people, the Hassan posse and whatnot, all they have to do is shut up and not make things worse for themselves. And yet, they continue to yap like their life depends on it. It is insane. So much damage could have been ignored if you just had the brains to just shut up, sip it. That's all you needed to do. But no. But thankfully, no.
Hasan has slandered me, committed some defamation in response to my reaction to what was going on with Twitch and the situation with Twitch. So today I'm going to respond to that publicly, clear up some of that misinformation, and also talk about some hot water that Hasan may be in legally in the state of California. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is the legal mindset we teach you to be your own judge. So typically my policy overall with defamation, with people that engage in defamation, is just to ignore it, is to pass it by, is to really pay it no mind, particularly if they're smaller channels and smaller people, really to ignore that at large. However, when a channel of 1.7 million people spreads false information about yourself, clearly not having watched a single one of my videos or really knowing much about me, it seems, other than what the most deranged antis might try to cook up.
Now, to be fair, it's not like Hassan would have a better informed opinion even if he did watch and research anything. That's just not how these things work.
There is some need to respond to that. And also, there is a need to bring up some very real legal trouble that Mr. Piker may be in regarding California, especially as some individuals look to come against him. So first of all, we're going to start by reviewing the defamation itself. And this does come in the form of a video, which I have right here for you guys. And this is Hasan kind of responding to his chat and talking about me and why he's not going to review my videos. And I just want to start out by saying I love the fact that you're going to see immediately how he jumps to ad hominem, because ad hominem or personal attacks, when used as a debate strategy or when used to rebuke someone, actually represent a concession. That actually means you are incapable of making a legal argument or an objective argument or an informed argument or in any sort of
Typically, yes, this is true.
educational argument. You're simply trying to discredit someone personally to get around the fact you lack the capacity to actually argue. And so I actually don't take offense to that. I'm very used to it, having been on the internet for years now. So we'll get into this video and the thoughts by Mr. Piker.
Dude, there's something so funny about people being like, dog, have you seen the legal mindset video about you? Dude, if I were to cover every Rumble lawyer, fake lawyer that it actually is.
So let's stop right there. Okay, so
fake.
Rumble lawyer is very interesting. And I think he may mention Rumble again. While I do have, I guess, still a Rumble account, I haven't uploaded it to years. I don't stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube, primarily as a major platform. I've
Is Rumble just dead, by the way, at this point? I haven't heard anything about it.
tried the others. I don't like them. Rumble, just as a comment, initially offered a very good package contractually to stream on their platform, good advertising packages. That fell off way back towards the COVID days. So yeah, that's kind of a weird thing. Now, fake lawyer is interesting, and I want to throw out here that that's possibly the most defamatory thing. Now, I want to give Mr. Piker some credit here, because perhaps he knows nothing about me or knows nothing about the law. Well, clearly he knows nothing about the law or what words mean.
True, based.
A lawyer is anybody with a law degree, whether or not they're licensed and practice law. So anybody who's gone to law school is indeed a lawyer. Now, attorney is someone above lawyer.
Wait, is anyone who went to law school a lawyer if they even didn't finish? Does that count? That would be pretty stupid if it counted.
You could say that word.
Also, listen, I don't give a shit about the legal definition of these things. We're going colloquial here, boys, okay? A lawyer is the guy who defends people and sues people on behalf of things and makes arguments and whatnot. Anything else, I don't give a shit. That's not a lawyer. Okay? We are at a day and age where nothing means anything, and so we're gonna stick with basic stuff here, okay? Asmongold fans can be proud and happy now.
Word is perhaps not interchangeable, but similarly related insofar as they are not only a lawyer, not only do they have a law degree, but an attorney has to be licensed to practice in their state. I'm licensed to practice in the state of Florida. So I am both a lawyer and an attorney above that. So thinking
And Florida man, okay.
about that logically as a little bit of education, all attorneys are lawyers, but not all lawyers are attorneys. So there you go, Mr. Piker. That's a language. So that statement is indeed false, right? That I am a quote unquote fake lawyer because I indeed possess a law degree from the University of Florida. So that statement in the future would be defamatory.
But is the University of Florida the real place? Gotcha.
And with Mr. Piker, we do have to remember, and with myself and other figures, is that we are all public figures. So we follow the New York Times versus Sullivan standard. We have a higher standard for defamation than the normal private individual. So now that that's been clarified publicly for Mr. Piker, and that he will well know that that information is false and defamatory, to continue to do so would perhaps incur liability on the part of Mr. Piker. But let's continue.
But this doesn't mean anything, right? You need to still prove damages or anything like that in that case. Which, who gives a shit what Hasan says? No one cares what Hasan says, okay? So this is probably not something you can do, okay? We are also in the kind of current meta. Are we using the word meta again? Ooh, fancy, I know. Is the current meta just throwing out allegations of going into past legal dramas and shit like that? Because there's been a lot of it, okay? So many people are saying, I'm gonna sue this person. No one's suing anything. No one's suing shit, okay? None of these people. Ian Klein is the only one who sued stuff. And I thought that is gonna happen considering but he previously was talking about suing, was it Denims or someone? That seemed like legit because he is as petty as that to try and destroy someone's life. Not that I'm defending those retards, by the way. Denims can go find a tree branch and other things, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, 41%. Let's just say that Minecraft charactering, but still, Ian Klein is the only one who's gonna sue shit. Everyone else is gonna fucking fake it because there's no one cares. Okay. By the way, if you did not know, I'm suing everyone. That's right. I'm suing everyone. There you go.
You need to see what he has to say about me. This is fun.
Like a fucking right-wing freak that spends most of their time talking about like trans people.
So that's very interesting. So
what the fuck?
I will say this. Most of my time talking about trans people, the issues I have been covering lately have been the Ethan Klein lawsuit, have been Johnny Somali, have been Vitali. Now, unless you
God, Johnny Somali is so stupid and boring. I hate him.
Are counting something with Somali or Vitali as a trans issue, which I would struggle to understand how that would fit in, then yeah, that's not at all what my content has been about for the past years. So very interesting thing. Also, I keep politics out of my streams, and it's particularly over the last year. 6 months, definitely last 6 months and a year, I have endeavored to keep my streams as objective and educational, and make it a environment where everybody is welcome. Even people who like Hasan Piker are welcome in my chat, so long as they are civil, so long as they keep the conversation from violating the terms of service of the platform, because I indeed do care about abiding by the terms of service of the platform. That is, you are welcome in my chat, whether you're right, left, center, whether you're apolitical, whether you don't care about politics. It doesn't matter at all to me. I care about the law and educating people on the law. That's the core of my channel. So let's continue.
I would lose my mind. I would have no time to cover anything else. I get it. A lot of you are drama perverts, okay? And you nut when you think about the prospect of drama. but I'm not.
I will say, I actually
Oh,
do
no,
not like
no.
drama. And in fact, on my channel, I try to avoid drama. In fact, even in
There we go.
carrying out my behaviors, I try to make sure that I am focusing more on the legal aspects of things rather than the dramatic elements, the interpersonal problems, the stuff that people did. I try to focus on the legal elements of a story. Now, sometimes to get to the legal elements, you have to give background, you have to give context, because things don't make sense in context, without context. However,
Context making YouTube videos? Bruv, that's not happening. No one cares. The less context, in fact, the better the last time I checked.
yes, I would agree with Hasan that I don't like drama, but what Hasan tends to define as drama, and what it appears he's defining as drama, is anything that disagrees with the things he's doing. So by somebody saying what you are doing is objectively risking lawsuits, it's objectively wrong, or for example, saying that, hey, your orbiters, Denims and Frogan, they're gonna lose under copyright infringement. Here's the explanation of the law. Apparently, that's drama, to objectively educate people on the law. That's a new definition of drama to me. And I don't know what you guys think, chat.
Going to pay any mind or any attention to some fucking psychotic MAGA lawyer, not a real lawyer, but a passport bro.
So, okay, that's really interesting. Once again, he repeats the defamation, saying I'm not a real lawyer, which is indeed wrong. And it's interesting, and MAGA, of course, don't bring up politics. That I've never talked about that at all recently at all. But beyond that, passport bro is interesting. Because the definition of a passport bro is typically someone that would visit a location for a short period purely for sexual purposes. And for anybody who knows anything about me, I'm a long-term resident of several countries in Asia. I've been a resident of the Republic of South Korea, the Kingdom of Thailand, the Philippines, and Japan. These are all wonderful, amazing countries, and I do help people obtain...
Well, no one goes to the Philippines, except for one reason, though. And you can all probably guess that reason.
legal visa.
So that does not sound good. Oh, but I can't blame him. I mean, it's the Philippines. What else are you fucking gonna even do there, okay? For the culture? Good joke.
And legal residents long-term in these countries because they appreciate the culture, the lifestyle, the quality of life, the peace, the safety, the tranquility. These are amazing things about living in Asia. And another amazing thing is that, unlike America, and this may be surprising to Hasan, it is not as easy to get away with being an illegal migrant to these countries. So if you try to illegally migrate to Japan or Korea, very good luck to you, sir, because likely you will end up in the cell next to Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Ismail, if you try that in...
Oh, that is such a bad place. Imagine being in the same vicinity as Johnny Somali in general. I'd probably Minecraft myself. That is sad.
Korea. It's not gonna go well for you. So I would insist that perhaps the only person that perhaps between the two of us would be a passport bro is the individual who visited Berlin solely for the purpose of going to a brothel. But that's neither here nor there. Let's continue.
Did he visit Berlin solely to go to a brothel? Oof.
Who offers fucking courses on
Courses.
becoming a passport bro.
Does
who
he have
primarily
courses?
fucking streams on Rumble.
Neither one of those things are true. I do not have a single course on becoming a passport bro, and I do not primarily stream on Rumble. I only stream on YouTube. So, yeah, there we go.
Why do you guys come in here and ask for this stuff? It's never gonna happen.
And that's the great point.
So Hasan completely has no idea about anything, and he's just not even hesitating to randomly say bullshit that doesn't fit into anything. Oh, to be fair, that's exactly what you would expect from Hasan, and that's probably the big problem with Hasan, why so many people are against him. Oh, but, who am I to judge?
I'm going to leave it right there. It's never going to happen because Hasan lacks the capacity to actually address real issues and to actually respond to legal or objective arguments because he's incapable of doing that. Not only because he's not a lawyer, even a non-lawyer...
Wait, doesn't that mean you can't sue him because you're saying he's mentally deficient? That's that. Yeah, can you sue someone who is retarded by your own standard? Does that even work?
Can make an argument, can make a policy position, can say this should be this way for XYZ, but because he needs to discredit others by ad hominem in order to try to win an intellectual argument. And frankly, that's at the lowest level of argumentation. But one thing he really can't argue with is the law. And in fact, there's a California law, which was pointed out by a California lawyer friend of mine, where that shows that he may have violated this statute, 653.2, involving electronic cyber harassment. So this is the statute which reads, every person who with the intent to place another in reasonable fear of his safety. So if you have the intention to scare somebody else, to place them in fear of their safety or the safety of that person's family by means of an electronic communication device, a computer or a cell phone, and without the consent of the other person, and for the purpose of imminently causing that other person unwanted physical contact, injury, or harassment by a third party, electronically distributes, publishes, emails, hyperlinks, or makes available for downloading personal identifying information, including but limited to a digital image of that other person, or an electronic message of a harassing nature about that other person.
Oh, damn. So there we go. Because he did distribute the image. That's for sure. Okay.
Which would be likely to incite or produce that unlawful action. So he put out that photo and he engaged in those actions with the intent to instill fear in that other individual. So that individual could look into contacting California law enforcement, could look into that pertaining to Hasan and take action.
Isn't that reaching saying he intended to install fear, though? Ah, well, whatever. Hasan probably did do that. Hasan is definitely not above any of these things. So, that is a good chance.
Action thereby. Very interesting and something for him to worry about, but of course, only if he addresses the real issues. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll
that was pretty interesting. Legal mindset. Hasan keeps making his own life worse, and I am here for it. Great entertainment. Bye.